Pretty wild day, as Ali was just mentioned there on Wall Street. Major indices climbing from the lows of the day, managing to post gains across the board. NASDAQ leading the way and bringing up the rest of the market along with it. Joining us now is B. Riley Wealth Chief Market Strategist Art Hogan. Art, always great to see you. So let's talk about this market. Art, this morning, get the CPI print. We did see, a slide there late morning, but then here comes NVIDIA. Art surging 8%, leading us back. What do you make of today's trade?
Yeah, interesting day, right? So, the day is sort of like the week has been, right? So the first time that I can remember, we've seen an S&P 500 lose and gain 100 points in a single week. And that's very typical of September. I think the reaction to the CPI likely was an overreaction. And then we started getting comments from a multitude of conferences that are going on September's conference season. So it doesn't take much for NVIDIA to get people excited about AI again, especially with the selling pressure that the group has seen over the course of the last 2 months. So a nice rebound there that took the rest of the technology group up with it, especially the AI adjacent names. But I think that when you take a step back and say, if our biggest concern is that today's modestly hotter core CPI number means the Fed's going to go 25 basis points versus 50. That was consensus coming into the day, right? So it just went from 70% to 85% consensus. So I think just a major overreaction in what has become an oversold September tape, and I think that the rally in the afternoon probably makes a whole lot more sense.
What about, I want to drill down on NVIDIA and the tech reaction a little bit, Art, and by the way, it's great to see you. So Jensen Huang, from what I read at the conference where he made comments today, he didn't say anything that crazy. He mostly reiterated that demand has been strong, and there really hasn't been anything to challenge that demand has been strong. Were people just looking for an excuse to get back in here on NVIDIA and some of the other big tech companies? Yeah,
so the semiconductors in general, down some 23% coming into the morning already, right? In the current sell-off in both, August and thus far in September. So you've got an oversold group. It doesn't take much of a push to get investors back in excited about a group that was trading significantly higher than this just 2 months ago. To the extent that his commentary was revelatory, it was much more about, hey, it's not just about data center. There are going to be other applications for artificial intelligence where you're looking at the tip of the iceberg. But to your point, what we already know is all the hyperscalers have reported and talked about their ongoing CapEx, where 80 to 90% of that's going to NVIDIA. So clearly oversold stock, oversold group, calming commentary from the guy that runs the place, and it didn't take much to sort of start that fire.
Here we have the current stock market analysis for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. Before we begin, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comments section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So as we can see here, this is the 4-hour price chart, and share prices have managed to post a fairly substantial rally here from these prior lows. The main price zone that we were looking at previously came in right around $100.95. This would be the prior price low. And this is significant because this is roughly about $1.50 away from an important Fibonacci price zone, which was going to be expected to work as support in the event that we did actually fall below this $100 psychological price handle. So as we can see here, this didn't exactly happen. We did start to see a major reversal here. And what is interesting in this move higher is the fact that it is starting to look as though this price move higher does have some characteristics of an actual short squeeze, if you can believe that. It does look like there was some fairly significant short activity that was being centered on this stock. Which is kind of mind-blowing given the fact that NVIDIA obviously has a very strong position in this AI space. Also, we saw, recently a very positive earnings report from the company. So I'm not exactly sure who would be getting into that type of a position where you're actually short selling a stock like this. But this recent move higher actually does have some characteristics of short squeeze type activity. So in this movement higher, we have to drill into this a bit here, because what happened here is we did actually keep this 78.6% Fibonacci retracement zone intact. We did not even actually test this $100 price zone. Psychological perspective, that is important because it did sort of keep this area intact, didn't lead to any further panic selling pressure for the stock. So as things currently stand, this is the main level of support to watch on the downside, $100.95. Even if we were to break below there, this area has turned into a very important historical support zone. But if we were to even see a break below there, there are still a few areas of support just below here that would still be expected to provide some sort of buying activity. So even if we did see a break below there, it's still unlikely that we would be seeing significant movements from there to the downside. As share prices have continued to move higher, what we have seen here is that we are now trading back above the exponential moving average cluster. So this is the 4-hour price chart. And as we can see here, all of this buying activity has now forced share prices above the 50 period EMA and the 100 period EMA. That would be this orange line and purple line coming in right around 115.20, 115.10. So this does suggest that upside momentum is likely to start to build here. And this is important because if we look at the longer term indicator reading here, this is still showing some downward price momentum that has been in place for quite some time now. So if we continue to see upward share price momentum in this stock, I would expect this downward slope here to break at some point here relatively soon. We are starting to see the relative strength index reading move higher sharply, and then shorter term, we're starting to see some positive momentum that is starting to develop in the bullish direction. So as long as these trends continue and as long as we don't see any significant sell-offs here, it does look as though the share price itself is going to start to readjust itself in ways that support positive momentum readings in the indicator. So this should continue to lead to buying activity here going forward. If we look into the recent trading volumes here, we can also see that most of this activity has been positive. We have seen some instances of negative activity, selling pressure, but these have started to become less frequent and smaller in size. So as we can see back here, there was a significant amount of selling pressure, and then this started to slow down, and then things start to turn green here as the market starts to become more bullish on the stock. A lot of these indications here do also point to potential short squeeze activity. So this is looking like what it is fueling momentum currently. This is also building momentum, positive bullish momentum in the AI adjacent stocks, as was explained here. And so we're also starting to see upward price movements with names like Broadcom, for example, which is another significant market example at this point, because that's another company that posted strong earnings and then was sold off significantly after those earnings release figures came out. So overall, this is a positive development here, and this is looking like this recent move lower was a tremendous buying opportunity. It's kind of hard to believe that some people were actually considering selling the stock at this point, but it looks like anybody that did that near the lows is in some trouble right now, and this is probably what's leading to this fresh wave of upward price momentum in share prices. So here's the current stock market outlook for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market, lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.